the Smart Money Show. Joining us in the studio, we have Ingrid from Cavmont Bank.
Indeed.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
We trust you're doing okay today.
I'm good. Thank you very much.
It is a good day.
It's a beautiful day.
Absolutely.
Yes.
These are my kind of days.
Okay, cool.
You
Yeah.
know?
We're also welcoming, obviously, our television viewers.
Yes.
Welcome to the Smart Money Show. We're going to have an absolutely fantastic morning. Ingrid, what are we looking at today?
Today we're looking at our children volunteering during the festive season.
Okay.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
During the
Sounds-
festive season and
Life
all the
in
time.
general.
Yeah, and all the time.
Okay.
Okay.
So how can we help our children to do that?
Right. How can we
Yes.
make it? Because now that's the question I was going to ask. How can we make our children do that?
How can we make our children do that? Look,
Cholo, use the term the children. Don't
no,
say
Our children.
no, look,
Our
Mario,
children?
it's
Thank you
children
very much.
in the morning.
It takes a village
Yes,
to raise
a
children.
child.
Oh, yes. And
Yes.
there's lots of them in my village.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So,
Right.
for this season, how do we make our children volunteer and make them feel like it's not something that we're asking them to do, which is out of the ordinary? Okay.
Right.
We want them for it to become a part of their lives. Okay, so somebody called Lynn, I'm not going to attempt to say her last name, but shared with us how every Advent season she makes a calendar for her two children.
Okay.
So during this period, she has Christmas-themed daily activities. Which include like baking cakes, baking cookies, making decorations, writing greeting cards, so that every year this begins to generate an interest in them to volunteer.
Okay.
Right.
The greeting cards that they're making could be for relatives, and then they don't have to spend money buying Christmas cards. Cookies, they're baking cookies to give away, maybe to a shelter or children's homes or whatever the mother feels that the children can do.
Okay.
So why should our family choose volunteering? Do you remember a time of volunteering in your childhood?
I think I volunteered all through my childhood.
Yeah, so it's a little bit difficult to pinpoint.
A
because that's
particular-
been kind of a culture,
Oh.
where it's been normal.
Nice.
For some
I
of
didn't
us.
grow up that way. I can,
Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't grow up with the thing about volunteering. Okay, and to be honest, even my children, I haven't really put that into them. So I guess that's a lesson that I'm now going to have to take up. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So volunteering is basically about giving, and giving is a value. Okay, and I think last week we talked about values which help us with our lives and what we want to do in our lives. And giving is one of those values.
Right.
So giving really is a value that one should pass on to their children. Okay, so donating of our time is sometimes more precious and meaningful than giving money. Sometimes we tend to think that only when we give money, that's when we've done something meaningful. But you
Right.
actually find that when you're dealing with people, the human touch is actually more important.
Yeah, and I'm sure for
than-
you
than-
with the customer.
Yes, exactly.
service
Exactly.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
exactly.
Our customers want to feel the human touch. In as much as technology is there to make our lives easier, to make things easier for our customers, we can't go all technology. At some point, they want that voice. I mean, you know how it feels when you have to phone, when you phone some of these of our service providers, and then you just keep
Right.
talking to a machine.
It keeps talking to you.
Yeah, it
actually.
keeps telling you
Yeah.
what to press 1, press 2, press 3, press 9.
is
It's like,
like,
let me speak to somebody, please, Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what we want to do is to teach our children that giving is actually a very, very fulfilling activity. And it can actually leave you with a feeling of satisfaction that cannot be matched by anything that you may do. So it doesn't matter, and especially when you give of your time, when you're actually involved. Okay?
Okay.
So, excuse me. So one of the things that Lynn did with her children, they made a move. Lynn lives in Canada, and they moved to Nova Scotia, which is one of the island provinces of Canada. And so she wanted her children to learn more about the new community where they had moved to with the children. So she wanted them to be conscious of the reality which is around them. With our children nowadays, sometimes what we tend to do is give them everything they ask for.
Oh, yeah.
And then our children grow up sometimes feeling entitled and they're privileged, and they think that everything I ask mom or dad for, it should be there.
Yeah, and maybe also there's also in that respect a lack of exposure to the real world, because they'll just be in school and come back home, and then you take them to the shopping mall and you're back home. So I suppose. Yes,
Dario, though I'd like to just sort of take away attention from the real world, because for your children, the real world will be what they're experiencing. So it's just giving them a different perspective, a different experience, because they may think that everybody spends Christmas.
Or can afford what you afford.
Yes, what you afford. Everybody goes to good schools, everybody gets Christmas presents, and everybody has a big meal on Christmas Day. But for some children, that is not the reality. So when you expose your children to that kind of experience, I think they then tend to have a more rounded view of a more rounded worldview, for them. So that's what Lynn wanted for her children. So the first thing she did when she moved to Nova Scotia is take her children to a homeless shelter, and this was in the basement of a church. Okay. In our environment, that could actually be an orphanage, and we've got a lot of these in Lusaka. Some are more privileged than others as well. One of the things that friends of mine do on Christmas every year, I think for the last 4 or 5 years now, is to actually cook a Christmas meal on Christmas Day.
Okay.
And what we do is we identify a community less privileged, and then we identify an organization in there, and this is through our network of contacts, and then they will organize the children, and these are children who do not have a full meal 3 times a day, every day. And Christmas, of course, would be no different from that. So we've said, look, we will volunteer. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes even for myself, I don't have the money, to give. But my time. So now it's become like Christmas Day, I'm giving of my time. And believe me, the satisfaction that I feel when when at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Christmas Day, when I'm tired, we've been cooking since 05 and serving food to children, and just to see the children, the expressions on their faces, the way their faces light up when they see this food, the disbelief that it's actually for themselves.
Exactly.
So if we can get, some of our children to participate in some of these things, because our children, they don't even realize sometimes what a privilege it is, what they have. They don't want to eat food. They take food for granted, They say, I don't want to eat this, I don't eat this. But if you take them to a place like that, and they actually see that some people do not have food, I bet you'll be saving a lot of food in your homes.
Because that was actually going to be my question in terms of getting the kids involved in that.
It also brings in an attitude of gratitude, I would say.
Yes, for what you have. You begin to appreciate.
You know what? I have this and I have that, and I'm grateful for that.
Good
okay.
Stuff. Cool.
So for Lynn's children, what they learned with this experience, that when she took them to the shelters home, is that now the children love to volunteer. They've realized that giving is a good thing, and I feel good after working. And then they realize that, look, my friends do not have what I have. So they have begun to appreciate this. And every year, apparently now they ask if they can do something at Christmas. They've begun to realize it's time for them.
So it has become a part of their lives.
Yes, it's become a part of their lives. They are more sensitive to the needs of others. And now they also suggest other ways that they can how they can help those who are in need.
They do get creative, isn't it?
Yes.
One of my friends actually does something interesting. I think every year what she does is she gathers her clothes, what she's accumulated and she has not been using, and she goes and gives that out. I suppose it would also be a good culture for kids as well.
Yes.
Where you tell them, hey, gather what you're not.
The things that do not fit,
that
put them aside.
It also comes from them in a way, like, oh, this is mine, and I'm giving it away.
Yes, you need to involve them. You need to
impact.
involve them, because then, like you're saying, it's coming from them.
Yeah.
It's not mom just coming and saying, oh, I've taken, they find that their favorite T-shirt's gone, even if it was small.
Right.
But they have made the decision, and that way, if they see somebody else wearing it, it won't be like, you've got my T-shirt, I need it back.
Yeah.
So when the children makes the decision to actually choose amongst their clothes, these things are small, or these things, I can now give them away, and they give them away. And that giving doesn't necessarily actually have to go like very far out. Sometimes even in our families, we find that we've got our less privileged relatives, and they could need some clothes. And if your child begins to learn that, when I run, my T-shirt gets small, I can give it to my cousin or to somebody, my mom, who's going to the village or coming from the village, or even the helps child who could probably use some extra clothing. Then the child begins to know that they can give stuff away.
Okay.
And they can give.
Cool. Do you want us to take a break?
We can take a break. Yes.
All right. So stay tuned to Radio Christian Voice. Remember, you can listen to us at 106.1 for Lusaka, 98.9 for Livingston and in Dola, and if you're in Solwezi, it's 105.3, I think. And you can also stream live.
106.5.
Thank you, Tom.
106.5.
105.3 is which one?
Is
Kapiri?
Kapiri. No.
Yeah.
Kapiri is 101.1.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. All
Did
right.
you say Livingston?
Livingston, Livingston, we
99?
98.9.
98.9.
Kitwe is 105.3.
Exactly.
I had to.
I knew that there's a 105.3
somewhere.
But you can also stream live at www.rcvoice.co.zm. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
This is the Cavmont Smart Money Show. Welcome to it. We're so delighted that you're tuned in on Diamond Television as well as on YouTube if you're watching us there, on Facebook Live, and of course on Radio Christian Voice. We're so excited this morning.
Yes, we're learning about giving.
Yes.
And we were talking about a message that one of our viewers on Facebook
said.
That's
and I'll
Michelle.
just read that out. Michelle Nambea, who's writing to us from Greece, says to us, I agree with you totally. A touching hand with affection counts. So it's not just about sending gifts just because you have to and it's Christmas. So so when you give of yourself, the human touch, people will appreciate that more than just receiving a box.
All right.
That's
so
right.
we go through a little bit more.
Yes. Now I'm going to talk about teaching your children the value of giving.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Robert Swank from the Commerce Trust Company gives us a few points of what we can do so we can learn about the value of giving. So he says that giving, as any philanthropist will tell you, gets into your blood. It makes you realize the difference in the world, or rather that you can make a difference in the world.
Right.
Because sometimes you think, I'm just Ingrid, small me in Lusaka, Zambia, Cavmont Bank. What can I do? Who can I impact? But sometimes it's not about the big things. There's that saying that it's the small things in life, that count.
That's for sure.
So little me here can actually make a difference in the world. And then what you also realize is that when you help others, you actually feel good, and it's not just the money, and people also feel good to actually have you there. So there are a few things that you can do when you want to learn about giving, the value of giving, just for yourself and for your children as well. So the first thing you need to do is start early.
Okay.
Okay, number one. So you start early. You're never too young to start giving. So teach your young children that they can give. So the first thing they can do is to drop a coin in a collection basket. Okay. If you go to church, 50 1 kwacha, 15 ngwe in the collection basket. If you go shopping, there's some shops where they'll put a little box or a bottle or something where you can, to make a donation. If you send your child or your child has some pocket money, teach them that they can give a little bit in there. It doesn't have to be a lot of money because, of course, your child does not have too much pocket money, I hope. Yes.
Why not, Ingrid?
No, because yes, but they shouldn't because they're not working for that money.
Be
You're
balling?
teaching them the wrong thing. I mean, the pocket money should be age appropriate.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
True,
yeah.
true.
And
It's about being smart.
exactly. Yes. Yeah. And teaching your child the right values. So your child shouldn't expect 100 kwacha. He doesn't go to work. That's a lot of money. He doesn't work unless he's doing chores. But if he's doing chores as well, they have to be appropriate remuneration for the chores that he's doing at home. Yeah,
It reminds me of an incident once around the kids. The young boys that ask for money.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, there was this young boy. He was like, you know what? I am tired of getting coins. Nifuna koma 50 kwacha.
And he's begging, right?
And he's begging. I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
My friend.
He wanted the levels to change.
yeah, like
Yes,
my
yeah.
levels should change. My lema, my coin.
Yeah, so
Right.
teach your children to give early. And then also, you see, because they're children, if you've noticed a child who has a lot of things, a lot of toys, for example, and another one comes to visit, that child will not be so willing to share.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because they
Selfishness
don't know.
is like
yes,
inborn.
it's inborn. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It has to be
Exactly. It's
planned
like
out. It has
mine.
to be
And
taught.
they just, it's
This
mine.
belongs to me. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so when you start teaching your children early about giving and sharing, you'll find that the child will be able to give it freely. Yes. But of course, sometimes, like I've said, when they're young, you may find that you may have spoken about it and they know that we're going away to give. But when you
But they
actually
still-
get there, it's like, it belongs to me,
Yeah, they
So
can
start
actually
early.
throw a tantrum about it.
Yes, yeah.
But
And
I
then
think
that becomes embarrassing
One of
for
the
you.
interesting things that you've mentioned, of course, even when you're talking about quote-unquote little money,
Yes,
because
yeah.
ultimately it's the value and the discipline you're
Yes,
inculcating
into
in them.
the
It's not
child.
necessarily
Yes, yeah.
The
How
aspect
much.
of
How much
they
money
have.
it is, yes. It's the value that, what you've said is very correct. So number 2, let them choose a cause, okay? So let them choose something that they want to give to.
Okay.
That way they'll be involved, okay? And it will be their choice. So you may think that donating to cancer is a noble thing. He doesn't even know what cancer is, that kind of thing. So there's no point in let's go running for cancer. It's very, very important. For him, it would just be a fun run, okay? So if you let him choose, if you have a child who likes pets, for example, you may let the child go to a pet shelter and help out, clean out the kennels, maybe, I don't know, whatever the vet will allow the child to do, which is not dangerous or healthy.
Yeah, not giving jabs or anything.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then ask them to donate their own money. Okay. So do not give them money to donate,
give.
to say, go and give this. If you give your child pocket money, teach them. I think I spoke before about 3 containers. One was, I think, for church. One was for saving. And then one was for a charity. So teach them that, if I give you money, don't spend all of it on
Bubblegum,
yeah, or bubblegum or sweets or drink or whatever. So keep some of it. Keep some for giving it to church. Keep some for the future. Save some if you want to buy something in future. And then the last one, this is for giving to your charity. So that way they know the money is coming from me and I have worked to keep this money to give away.
Right.
Instead of, because then it will be like, mommy has to give me money so I can go and give it away. But no, I participating, I'm doing that.
Okay.
And then, of course, lead by example. As a parent,
Not
The
do what I
child-
say, not what I do.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
So do what you're saying the child should do. So lead by example. Children learn what they are taught and they mimic what they see. Okay.
Right.
So if you want to raise charitable children, Be charitable parents.
yourself.
Yeah. So they should see you taking out your clothes, putting them aside. I mean, there's no point in keeping shirts from the time you were in high school or secondary school or even uni.
And now you're a grandma.
And you'll be, yes, you know. Yes, yeah.
And there's actually,
It's just a mess.
Somebody was actually saying that we probably have a lot of this in Africa, sentimental attachment.
Yeah.
You know, but it seems it's a little bit different with the Western world. You know, for example, they'll have a house and sell it in a heartbeat because they have a need to sort out. But kuno if it's mafna zone.
No, look.
Somebody was just making that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but yeah, we do have a lot.
But
of
especially even
sentimental
things like clothes, you find that we have like a bunch of clothes and we don't even have room for them, but we can't give them out because this was from the year
Look, I
look
something.
at Tolo's jacket.
No finger pointing, Dario. But I'm gonna look.
I'm actually
8 years, you know.
In fact, it's 9. In fact, it's like I think
Cholo,
9
that
years.
speaks very well into your health value.
Anyway, you
Goodness,
were making
yes,
a
I was
point.
going to say, like,
It
look,
has sentimental value.
I have a cousin who's always giving away her husband's shirts. Because this man has got shirts.
Oh yeah,
Which he doesn't wear.
Wow.
They've been married like, I think 25 years. Okay,
Wow,
yes.
yeah.
And then she'll be like, these shirts, the wardrobe, like you're saying, there's no space for new stuff. So she'll clean out.
Yeah.
And guess what happens? Every time she cleans out,
That's the shit
that's
he
why
wants.
that's when he remembers. So no, please clean out, guys. Clean out.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Make room for more.
Make room. I mean, when you give out, other stuff comes in.
Yeah.
And then you see if you've got all these things, for example, in your wardrobe, you think you have things to wear, but you actually find that half the things you do not wear them.
That's true.
And there's somebody out there who can actually use those clothes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
once upon a time a size 10. You are now a size 18. But you're keeping the size
though.
10. Thinking,
Jumping.
Isn't it?
no, it's been
Even if it's
25
an
years.
example.
It's been
Isn't it
25 years.
kept us, to remind you that you were once
No,
there?
you're
pictures,
telling
that's
yourself
okay.
that one day I'll go back. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Time is not kind. So just give them away. Give them away. Keep the size 16. Maybe
Okay,
you'll go
cool.
back to a size 16. Yeah. So, and then the last thing after you've started early.
Yeah.
You've let them choose a cause. You've asked them to donate their own money, and you've led by example. The last thing that you must do is encourage them to get involved. Okay, so as they get older, they can take more active roles in the causes they support. Okay,
Right.
so whether it's giving to church, they give their clothes, which are going to an orphanage. You can actually go with them to an orphanage. So they go and see the babies who are there, or the other children. Maybe play with the other babies who are there, and they feel that it's not just mom's cause that's happening, but I am also involved, and they feel I'm a part of it as well. So that's what you need to do. And when they grow up, they will turn into you. Into the better part of you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The
better part of you.
The best part of you.
Right.
Yeah, and then you'll have, you're developing children who will turn into responsible adults who will make the world a better place.
Awesome stuff. Great stuff. Very appropriate, obviously, especially that we are in the festive season. And a lot of
time
people
for
are
giving,
talking,
yes.
are talking about giving and just inculcating those values. But Ingrid, obviously, before we go, our listeners need to know how they can get in touch with us.
Yes.
Where we are found, on what platforms we
We
are
are found. Okay, number one, we are found on Facebook. on our Cavmont Bank page. Sorry, my mind just went blank. You can also watch us on
YouTube.
Yes. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Diamond TV, I believe every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m.
Yes.
You can call us. Please call us on 3333 from your Airtel and MTN lines. You can also call us from your Zamtel line on 0800 100 3333. And as we said, the human touch. You may visit us at our branches. We are in 7, 8 of branches in the country. So you can find us. We have 19 branches. In Lusaka, we've got 6, Copperbelt, Eastern, Northwestern. We're Mufumbwe, Hi Mufumbwe. You can find us in Mufumbwe. We are the only bank in Mufumbwe. So,
good stuff.
Yes, yeah. Right. So we are all over the place. We're also in Luapula province. So please come in, walk into any of our branches, get to our customer service desk or inquiries desk, and we've got people, the human touch. We are there waiting to give you our Christmas spirit.
All right.
Yeah.
So remember, on Radio Christian Voice, it's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 7:30 to 8 hours on Radio Christian Voice. And already the other details have been given.
Yeah. That's right. And we call it a wrap for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. The news comes on.